I'll be inspecting this Japanese ship's clock today. Its name is too tough for me to pronounce. There aren't many examples of these left. Definitely a rare, hard to find collector's item. The back is brass and was mounted on the ship by these 3 mounting tabs. The original sanding swirls left from finish in the back can still be seen here. This screw holds the movement mounting wood in place. This rivet fastens the mounting tab to the back of the brass case. Fasteners are made of steel and show signs of rust. This top mounting tab is bent. The stress caused when it was bent deformed the back of the case. Some corrosion in the brass around this bent tab. The tab is a cast part. Looking closer, you can see damage to the brass mounting tab in the form of a flattened, shiny area on the edge here. This damaged spot most likely happened when the mounting tab got bent. Could be someone dropped it. The brass is deformed and bent here at the screw and rivet location. The seam where the back is soldered to the side of the case is now broke open. This white residue at the broken seam looks like some type of dried polish or wax left behind. Inside the hole of the mounting tab, you can also see a deposit of white wax or buffing compound left behind. A scratch in the brass here extending away from the mounting screw. Looks like someone slipped with their screwdriver and gouged the brass. Black corrosion here might be from someone's greasy fingerprint. Another scratch extending away from the mounting screw. The seam where the ends of the brass are soldered together, and another scratch extending from this mounting screw. 2 mounting rivets for the door latch button. The fit is slightly loose. Japanese stamps here on the case. Unique serial number of the clock case, used to identify the clock. Nice beveled glass. Hinge screws are steel and show signs of rust. Here on the hinge, there's some plating, possibly nickel or silver. Black color is worn off most of the numbers. And here's the name of the builder. Green corrosion here on the dial. The trademark of the builder, the dial serial number. Slightly unusual left-hand winding arrow. This inscription says 1 week movement, wind once a day. Minute hand is held in with a taper pin. Hand washers, minute hand, hour hand, bezel mounting screws, back side of the dial has heavy tarnishing on the silvered surface. It's missing 2 dial mounting screws. Heavy corrosion pits in areas. Definitely was exposed to salt water sometime in its life. On the front side, numbers appear to have a gold-colored material under the silver. The silver is disbonding from the gold-colored material in areas. There's corrosion pitting, along with deep scratches. Looks like too rough of sandpaper was used to prep the surface for silvering. Here you can see the silvering is bubbled and is lifting away from the dial surface. That doesn't look like brass under the silver. Green corrosion here. Customer mentioned something was rattling inside the case. It's these two mounting screws for the movement. They should be the same size. The slots have shiny steel showing, like someone recently had a screwdriver on them. Not sure what this penciled M represents. This is the only screw holding the movement in place. And not sure what this 138 means. Looks like it's from a modern felt pen. There's also another penciled M here. Wind it up a little and see how it runs. With any luck, it'll just need a good cleaning and oiling. It has an odd smell. Someone has sprayed it with something like WD-40. The movement is coated with a light oil film. It's going to need to be hand cleaned before it goes into the clock cleaning solution. Watch paper has soaked up some of it. Balance has poor amplitude, only about 45 degrees of rotation. Should be up around 300 degrees. Someone has shortened the hairspring by about an inch. They've tucked the unused portion of the hairspring down here next to the center wheel. The regulator pin has been removed and a piece of copper wire has been soldered in its place. And the regulator doesn't fit up to the balance cap plate the way it was designed to. The regulator should be snug against the front plate here. It's going to take some time to make this one right again. The mainspring barrel cap is loose. Lots of oil. And this wire is too thin. Originally, the minute wheel was mounted with a taper pin. Oil is saturated here. There shouldn't be any oil in this area. It can cause dust to collect and stop the movement. A lot of dirt here. Looking at this regulator again, the solder didn't even stick to the copper wire in this area. Oh, the balance staff isn't rotating on its center. Something's wrong with the pivot. It's bent or something. And this balance end cap has a chunk broken out of it. All this oil on the surface of the plate is collecting dirt particles. Let the power off the movement and inspect the condition of the pivots. Center wheel could use a bushing. Third wheel could use a bushing. Needs a bushing here. Escape wheel could use a bushing also. Not sure on the pallet fork yet. Backside could use several bushings as well. Pull the pin for the hairspring. Someone sure mangled this hairspring. The hour wheel is stuck to the minute hand wheel. so loose. Front plate balance hole bushing is worn badly. I'm surprised it even ran at all with this much wear on it. Rust from the balance staff pivot on the balance end cap here. Here on the regulator shoulder, someone has center punched the brass in 4 places. It probably ended up spreading it and making it more loose. Balance pivot is bent and has rusted crud on it. This other staff pivot is bent and misshaped badly as well. Center wheel has some animal hairs on it here. Both pivots are scored on the third wheel. Fourth wheel, escape wheel, pallet fork, there's a hair here. This arm is bent. The pallet surfaces look good. The mainspring barrel cap snaps in too easy. Not too bad a movement here. This cap needs to be tightened in its seat. Red rust residue. Now you can see the broken area better. This raised area on the balance staff thrust bearing surface. Someone has modified this thrust bearing. Lots of rust here. Slots in the screws are all rounded over. Well, I'll get a hold of the owner and see how he wants to move forward on this movement.